Hello everyone, today in this video I am going to deal with the 8th chapter of Footprints Without Feet of class 10th. The title of this chapter is The Hack Driver, written by Sinclair Lewis. This story is about a young lawyer who has recently completed his honors and has started working for a law firm where he has started working as an assistant clerk, and his work is to serve as a summon. So he says that he is not happy with his profession because very often while serving as a summon he ends up being beaten by the people, and there are number of unpleasant experiences which he has experienced while doing his duty. So in this story particularly, the one incident is being described when he is being sent to New Million village in order to serve summon on Oliver Lutkins. So let's see whether he was successfully able to summon Oliver Lutkins or not, or even this time he ends up in being beaten or being cheated by some or other people. After graduating with honors, I became a junior assistant clerk in a magnificent law firm. I was sent not to prepare legal brief but to serve summons, like a cheap private detective. I had to go to dirty and shadowy corners of the city to seek out my victims. Some of the larger and more self-confident ones even beat me up. I hated this unpleasant work and the sight of city life it revealed to me. I even considered fleeing to my hometown where I could have been a real lawyer right away without going through this unpleasant training period. So in this first paragraph, the narrator is introducing himself. He says that after graduating with honors, he is going under training period, working as a junior assistant clerk in a magnificent law firm. And there his job is to serve summons. It means summons here, it means to call the people against whom an order has been issued by the court. So in order to call those people who were victims, who were guilty, or who were found guilty in different cases, he had to call them. So generally most of them were criminals, and therefore they were not afraid of law or even legal representative, and therefore it is being said that most of the time whenever he goes to serve as summon, he is even beaten up by those people to whom he has gone to summon in court. And therefore he says that he don't like this profession, he find it totally unpleasant, and some of the time even he has thought that he should flee the town and he should go to his village, to his hometown, where without struggling, without facing all these challenges, he can successfully start working as a real lawyer. So I rejoiced one day when they sent me out 40 miles in the country to a town called New Million to serve summons on a man called Oliver Lutkins. We needed this man as a witness in a law case, and he had ignored all our letters. So one day what happened? He was happy. Why he was happy? Because today he was going to visit a village which was 40 miles away, and the name of the village was New Million, and there he has to go in order to serve summons on a man whose name was Oliver Lutkins. This man was sent various letters to appear in the court, but he had ignored all the letters, and therefore now he has to go himself there. When I got to New Million, my eager expectation of a sweet and simple country village were severely disappointed. Its streets were river of mud with row of wooden shops, either painted a sour brown or bare of any paint at all. The only agreeable sight about the place was the delivery man at the station. He was about 40, red-faced, cheerful, and thick about the middle. His working clothes were dirty and well worn, and he had a friendly manner. You felt at once that he liked people. So he said that when he was to go there to the village of New Mullion, he was very happy and he was expecting that the village would be quite simple and sweet. But when he get down there in that village, he was totally disappointed to see that village. Why he was disappointed? Because he found that village not sweet and simple as he has imagined. It was totally different from what he has thought about that village. The streets were full of muds and there were wooden shops. That too, the shops were painted, and even the most of the shops were not even painted. So only one thing which he found there, which was agreeable to his sight, it means something which he found good over there, that was a delivery man whom he found at the station. So that the description of that delivery man is being given over here. So he was about 40, red-faced, cheerful, and thick about the middle. Thick about the middle, it means he had his belly bulging out. He was fat man. His working clothes were dirty and well worn. So the cloth which he was wearing was dirty and was torn. It was not in a proper manner. He had a friendly manner, and the person was quite friendly. His countenance, his facial expression seemed to him that person whom he met on the station was quite friendly and he liked people. I told him to find a man named Oliver Lutkins. Lutkins, I saw him around here about an hour ago. Hard fellow to catch, though always up to something or other. He is probably trying to start up a poker game in the back of Fritz shop. I will tell you, boy, is there any hurry about locating Lutkins? Yes, I want to catch the afternoon train back to the city. I was very important and secret about it. So this young lawyer, he has now devoted on the railway station, and there he saw a man, a delivery man. He went and he spoke to him, and he told him that he has come to that village in order to find out the man Oliver Lutkins. And he did not reveal all the things, each and every things about his purpose of visiting that village. But that man informed him that person, Oliver Lutkins, he was very hard fellow to catch. He said that he is always indulged in some or other thing. It's not easy to catch that man. And he informed that he was about to start up a poker game in the back of Fritz shop. And then he asked that is he in hurry? Then he informed him that yes, he has to catch the afternoon train back to the city. So this was the first conversation of this lawyer and the delivery man to whom he met on the station. I will tell you what, I have got a hack. I will get it out and we can drive around together and find Lutkins. I know most of the place he hangs out. He was so open and friendly that I glowed with the warmth of his affection. I knew, of course, that he wanted the business, but his kindness was real. I was glad the fare money would go to this good fellow. I managed to bargain down to $2 an hour. And then he brought from his house nearby a sort of large black box on wheels. He remarked, "Well, young man, here's the carriage," and his wide smile made me into an old friend. These villagers are so ready to help a stranger. He had already made it his own task to find Oliver Lutkins for me. So here this person, the stranger to whom he has met on the railway station, he told him that he has a carriage and he can help him. He can help the lawyer to find out Oliver Lutkins, and he said that he will bring his carriage and he will drive that carriage and he will hang out throughout the village, as this person know the maximum place, all the places where Oliver Lutkins goes. So he says that he has idea about him and he has idea about the places where Oliver Lutkins very often visits, and he said that I will help you to find out Oliver Lutkins. When he said so, this man, he was very much pleased. The lawyer was very much pleased, as he found him very open and friendly. He found that person very open and friendly, and he thought that this person is very kind-hearted person, and he thought that this person has made his work his own task. And therefore he said to himself that it may be no doubt this person is making business with me, because he has brought his carriage and definitely he is going to charge for it. But again he thought to himself that no matter, I have to give fare to some or other carriage driver, but since this person is very kind-hearted, very friendly and open and a very good person, therefore even if I have to pay to someone, then I will pay to this person only, because he is very helping and very kind person. So they made a bargain that he will pay $2 for that carriage per hour. So the bargain was made and the rate was fixed that he will have to pay $2 per hour for that carriage to that strange person. He said, I don't want to interfere, young fellow, but my guess is that you want to collect some money from Lutkins. He never pays anybody a cent. He still owes me 50 cents on a poker game I was fool enough to play with him. He is not really bad, but it's hard to make him part with his money. If you try to collect from him in those fancy clothes, he will be suspicious and get away from you. If you want, I will go into Fritz and ask for him, and you can keep out of sight behind me. So this person, this carriage driver, he offered an help. He said that I hope and I knew that definitely you are here to collect money from Lutkins. And he said that he still owes his 50 cents which he has lost to him in a poker game, and he said that that person, Oliver Lutkins, is really not a bad person, but the thing is he can't part away with his money. It means by nature wise he is very good, but he says that he never pays anyone's money, whichever from whomsoever he lent it. And then he said to him that if you will go to collect, if you will go to look for that person in these fancy clothes, definitely he will be suspicious, he will be doubtful, and he will run away. You will not be able to catch that person, Oliver Lutkins. So if you want, then I can help you in this. You may stay out of sight, and I will get into Fried's shop, and there I can ask him that whether he is there or not, and then after that you may get hold of that person, Oliver Lutkins. I loved him for this. By myself I might never have found Lutkins. With the hack driver's knowing help, I was sure of getting my man. I took him into my confidence. I told him that I wanted to serve the summons on Lutkins, that the man had refused to be a witness when his information would have quickly settled our case. The driver listened earnestly. At the end, he hit me on the shoulder and laughed. Well, we will give Brother Lutkins a little surprise. So now what happened? This person, the young lawyer, now what happened? This person, the lawyer, he thought that this guy this carriage driver is really very helping person, and he thought that definitely he is going to help him out to find Oliver Lutkins. Now he has won his confidence, and therefore he thought that this person is quite trustworthy, and therefore what he did, he revealed the purpose for which he was there in that village, and informed that he was there to summon Oliver Lutkins in a case, and he has been sent various letters in order to appear in front of the court, in front of judge, but he has ignored all those letters, and he said that his appearance would have settled that case, but he was not appearing in it. And therefore, now that person, this carriage driver who was hearing what he was saying, he said that no problem, my brother, I am going to help you out to find brother Lutkins, and don't worry, I will give him a surprise today. So now he was getting more friendly with this lawyer, with this young lawyer. Here you can see in the last line, he hit me on the shoulder and laughed. It means he was getting a little bit close, and he was getting a little bit friendly and familiar to this lawyer. Let's start, driver. Most folks around here call me Bill or Magnuson. My business is called William Magnuson Fancy Carting and Hacking. Alright, Bill, shall we proceed to Fritz? Yes, Lutkins is just as likely to be there as anywhere. Play a lot of poker. He's good at deceiving people. Bill seemed to admire Lutkins' talent for dishonesty. I felt that if he had been a policeman, he would have caught Lutkins respectfully and jailed him with regret. Bill led me into Fritz. Have you seen Oliver Lutkins around today? Friend of his looking for him, said Bill cheerfully. So now both of them have started their journey in order to find out Oliver Lutkins, and then that driver of that carriage introduced himself, and he said that his name is Bill or Magnuson. He is known by the name Bill or Magnuson, and he said that he has a business which is known as William Magnuson Fancy Carting and Hacking. And then they started on their journey, and he says that definitely Lutkins will be found at Fritz's shop because he plays a lot of poker game. And he says that he was very good at deceiving people. This person, the driver, he was praising the dishonesty of Oliver Lutkins. And now he says to himself, while hearing to driver, he said to himself that he was praising a lot about Oliver Lutkins, and therefore he said that if this driver would have been a policeman, definitely he would have caught Lutkins respectfully, and he would have jailed him with regret, because he was admiring that person very much, and therefore he says this, that he would have jailed him with regret because he was a great admirer and a praiser of that person, Oliver Lutkins. Now they went into the shop of Fritz, and there this young lawyer, he remained out of sight while the driver went into the shop, and he asked cheerfully to the person, to the shop owner, that is Fritz, that whether the Oliver has come there that day or not. Fritz looked at me, hiding behind Bill. He hesitated and then admitted, yes, he was in here a little while ago. Guess he has gone over to Gustav to have a shave. Well, if he comes in, tell him I am looking for him. We drove to Gustav's barber shop. Again, Bill went in first, and I lingered at the door. He asked not but two customers if they had seen Lutkins. The Swede had not. He said angrily, I haven't seen him and don't care to, but if you find him, you can just collect that $1.35 he owes me. One of the customers thought he had seen Lutkins walking down Main Street this side of the hotel. So now They went to the fruit shop. There he was informed that perhaps he has gone to Gustav's shop to have shave. So now again the driver and the lawyer, they went to Gustav's shop, and there he was informed that he had not come there, and that barber of the shop, he said that he even don't bother whether he comes or not, and he said that if you find him, please collect my $35 which he owes to that barber. And then one of the customer who was there in the Gustav shop, in the barber shop, he said to him that perhaps he has seen Lutkins walking down the main street this side of hotel. So one of the customer, he informed him that he has perhaps seen Lutkins. He was going down the street, round the main street by the hotel, by the side of hotel. As we climbed back into the hack, Bill concluded that since Lutkins had exhausted his credit at Gustav's, he had probably gone to Gray's for a shave. At Gray's barber shop, we missed Lutkins by only 5 minutes. He had just left, probably for the pool room. At the pool room, it appeared that he had just bought a pack of cigarettes and gone out. So we pursued him, just behind him, but never catching him. For an hour till it was past 1 o'clock, I was hungry, but I had so enjoyed Bill's rough country opinions about his neighbors that I scarcely cared whether I found Lutkins or not. Though now it is being said that from Fried's shop he went to Gustav's shop, and from Gustav's barber shop there he was informed that he has not visited there, and he still owes $35 of Gustav, and therefore now they set out from the shop of Gustav's. And then Bill said to the young lawyer that he has taken enough loan from that shop, he has exhausted his credit, he has not paid the $35 to Gustav, and therefore perhaps now he has started visiting another's barber shop, that is the shop of Gray, and therefore he said that perhaps most probably he would have definitely gone to Gray's shop, it means the shop of Gray, in order to have shave. So now they went there at Gray barber shop, and there he was informed that he has just left that place, the shop, 5 minutes ago, and he has probably gone to pool room. So they went again to pool room, and there he was informed again that he had just left that place after buying a packet of cigarettes. So by now it was 1 o'clock, and he says that he was feeling hungry now, but he says that he was enjoying the company of Bill, and therefore he never even noticed that even he was feeling hungry. And he said that the company of Bill's was making him quite happy and cheerful. He was enjoying his company, and he was enjoying the sight of that village. How about something to eat? I suggested, let's go to a restaurant and I will buy you lunch. Well, I ought to go home to the wife. I don't care much of these restaurants, only 4 of them, and they all are bad. Tell you what we will do. We will get the wife to pack up a lunch for us. She won't charge you more than $50, and it would cost you more for a greasy meal in a restaurant, and we will go up to Wade's Hill and enjoy the view while we eat. So now the young lawyer, he was feeling hungry, and therefore he made a request. He suggested that we should now have lunch, and he said that he will buy lunch for that carriage driver, that is for Bill as well. Then he said that no, I can't go to restaurant to have lunch, because he had to go to his home, as his wife would be waiting for him for the lunch. And then again he said that I don't care much about restaurant of that village. He said that there were only 4 restaurants in that village, and even the food were not up to the mark, the food was not good served by them, and therefore he never goes there. And then he says that I can give you one idea, that I will go to my wife, go to my home, and there I can ask my wife to pack food for both of us. And see, he says that his wife will charge only $50 from him. And then he says that after the food is packed, both of them will go to the Wade's Hill, and there they can enjoy the meal, enjoy the lunch, and in the meanwhile they will enjoy the view of that hill as well while eating the lunch. I know Bill's helpfulness to young fellow from the city was not entirely a matter of brotherly love. I was paying him for his time. In the end I paid for 6 hours, including the lunch hours, at what was then a very high price. But he was no more dishonest than I. I charged the whole thing to the firm, but it would have been worth paying him myself to have his presence. His cheerful country wisdom was very refreshing to a country boy like myself who was sick of the city. As we sat on the hilltop, looking up the pastures and the creek which slipped among the trees, he talked of New Mullion and painted a picture in words of all the people in it. Now in this part he is saying, the young fellow from the city, the young lawyer, he is saying that whatever service that Bill Magnuson was offering to him, that was not all because of his love and affection or brotherly love to him, but at the same time he was making his business as well, he was making profit as well. But he says that it doesn't harm me anyway, because he is going to give all those bill to his office. So he says that his office is going to pay all expense which he is doing right now in this village, and therefore he says that he don't bother about it. And he says that the person is quite helping and honest and cheerful one, quite friendly, and therefore he says that it will be worth paying to this person instead of paying to someone else, because the person was very cheerful and he was enjoying the company of that person, the description which he was giving of that village, and each and every information which he was giving about that village, and the way he spoke to him, and the most importantly, he has taken the work of that young lawyer as his own work, and he was helping him to find that Oliver Lutkins. So now they have taken their lunch, and now they have went to the hilltop, and there they were enjoying the sight of pastures and the creek. What is creek? Creek is a narrow sheltered waterway. So they were enjoying the sight of pastures and the creek which slipped among the trees. They were enjoying the natural beauty, the scenery, the scene of that village, and the scene that natural scene of that village was quite pleasant to this young lawyer, because he says that he was fed up from the life of city. He was totally fed up from that city life, and today, since after a long time he had got a chance to enjoy this view and the sight of village, and that too in the company of Bill Magnuson, who was giving a beautiful description of each and every people of that village, and therefore he was enjoying it. And Bill Magnuson was giving him a complete description of that village and about the villagers as well. He noticed everything, but no matter how much he might laugh at people, he also understood and forgave their foolishness. He described the minister's wife who sang the loudest in the church when she was most in debt. He commented on the boys who came back from college in fancy clothes. He told about the lawyer wife who never succeeded in getting him to put on both a collar and a tie on the same day. He made them all live. On that day, I came to know New Mullion better than I did the city, and to love it better. So now he says that Bill Magnuson, he was a person of word, and with his words he has painted each and every people of that village. He narrated several humorous incidents to him, and he made him laugh, and at the same time even he laughed a lot. So he says that he described him, the minister's wife, about minister wife. He informed him about the minister's wife that she used to sing at the loudest pitch of her voice when she was in debt. And then he informed about the boys who used to return from college in their fancy clothes, and then he informed him about the lawyer's wife who could never succeed in getting both collar as well as tie on the same day. The lawyer's wife who has never been successful in getting her husband, both collar as well as tie on the same day. It means she has tried many times that her husband would put both tie as well as the collar, the smaller one which a lawyer used to tie around their neck. So she tried many times to put both at the same time in her husband's collar, but she failed. And he said that he was so humorous and he was so much engrossed in his words that he made all the incident live. And he was enjoying the company and the view of that village, New Mullion. Bill did not know about colleges and cities, but he had traveled around a lot of the country and had had a lot of jobs. From his adventures, he had brought back a philosophy of simplicity and laughter. He strengthened me. We left that peaceful scene of meadows and woods and resumed our search of Oliver Lutkins. We would not find him. At last Bill cornered a friend of Lutkins and made him admit what he guessed: Oliver's gone out to his mother's farm 3 miles north. We drove out there laying plants. So now it is being said that Bill has informed a lot about himself to this lawyer, and he told him that he had never been to colleges and city, but he has toured a lot around the country and he had performed various jobs. He has worked in different profession and he has vast experience. And at end he returned back to his village, and now his philosophy is that simplicity and laughter. That is, he lived a quite simple life and he has left everything. So his philosophy quite encouraged him. He encouraged that his philosophy of Bill Magnuson encouraged this young lawyer. And then after that, after finishing their lunch, they left that hilltop and now they again resumed their job, that is to search Oliver Lutkins. So at last what Bill did, he found one of the friends of Lutkins and he took him aside and then he asked about Lutkins. And then he said that perhaps I think that he has gone to his mother's farm, which is 3 miles in the north direction. And then after that they drove to the mother's farm of Lutkins, which was 3 miles away, and in the meanwhile they were planning that how they will get hold of him. I know Oliver's mother, she's a terror, Bill sighed. I took a trunk out there for her once and she almost took my skin off because I did not treat it like a box of eggs. She's about 9 feet tall, 4 feet thick and quick as a cat, and she sure can talk. I will bet Oliver heard somebody's chasing him and he has gone on there to hide behind his mother's skirt. Well, we will try her, but You would better let me do it, boy. You may be a great at literature and law, but you have not had real training in swearing. We drove into poor farmyards. We were faced by an enormous and cheerful old woman. My guide bravely went up to her and said, "Remember me, I'm Bill Magnuson, the carter and the hackman. I want to find your son, Oliver." "I don't know anything about Oliver. I don't want to," she shouted. So now they are on their way to Oliver's mother's house, which was 3 miles away from that village. And then he said, while on their way, Oliver Magnuson said to the lawyer, that he has once visited to his mother's house, and then he says that she is like a terror. Then he gave the physical description of that lady. He says that she is 9 feet tall and she is 4 feet thick, and she is very quick, as quick as a cat. And then he said him that once he had visited that lady, he has taken a trunk for her, and he said that when he went over there, she was about to kill him. She was about to beat him, and the reason for that was he has not treated the trunk which he has carried to her. He has not treated it like a box of egg, and therefore she was about to kill him. And then after that again he said to him that the boy, he referred him, the young lawyer, as a boy, and he said that no doubt you may be great at literature, you have an immense knowledge of literature and law, but you don't know how to tackle these types of people, and therefore let me tackle that lady. You will stay behind and I will speak to that lady. So finally they reached the farmyard, and there they saw an enormous and cheerful old woman. And then when this person, Bill Magnuson, he introduced him to that lady, and then he said that he was there to find out Oliver Lutkins, his son. When she heard the name of Oliver Lutkins, she started shouting, and she said that she don't know anything about Oliver Lutkins, and she even don't want to know anything about Oliver Lutkins. Now look here, we had just about enough nonsense. This young man represents the court in the city, and we have a legal right to search all properties for this Oliver Lutkins. Bill made me sound very important, and the woman was impressed. She retired into the kitchen and we followed. She seized an iron from the old-fashioned stove and marched on us shouting, "You search all you want if you don't mind getting burned first." She shouted and laughed at our frightened retreat. "Let's get out of here, she will murder us," Bill whispered outside. He said, "Did you see her smile? She was laughing at us." So now the lady has denied. She said that she don't have any information about Oliver Lutkins, and she even don't want to listen anything about him. And then he said to that lady, Bill Magnuson said to that lady, that this young person, he has come all way long from a city, and he is a representative of court, and he said her that he has an order to search all her properties in order to find out Oliver Lutkins. And to that, what she said, she went into the kitchen, and then what she did, she took out an iron rod out of the stove, and then she said that, "Yes, if you want to get hurt, if you want to burn, then come and search out my house and take out Oliver Lutkins." So she threatened both of them, Bill Magnuson as well as the young lawyer, and they were totally frightened at that threat, the way that lady responded to both of them, and they were totally afraid. And then Bill Magnuson said to this young lawyer that she is going to murder us, let's move out of from here. I agreed that it was pretty disrespectful treatment. We did, however, search the house. Since it was only 1 story high, Bill went round it, peering in at all the windows. We examined the barn and the stable. We were reasonably certain that Lutkins was not there. It was nearly time for me to catch the afternoon train, and Bill drove me to the station. So now, since the lady has not allowed them to enter the house in order to search out her house for Oliver Lutkins, and therefore what they did, the house was only 1 story, and therefore Bill Magnuson, he himself searched the house from outside. He peered into the house through the windows, and he looked into the barn and stable. Barn is the place where grains is being stored, and stable is the place where animals are being kept. So he looked each and every part of that farmyard without being noticed by that lady, and after that it was time for him to catch afternoon train, and therefore he was taken back to the station in order to catch afternoon train. On the way to the city, I worried very little over my failure to find Lutkins. I was too busy thinking about Bill Magnuson. Really, I considered returning to New Mullion to practice law. If I had found Bill so deeply and richly human, might I not grow to love Fritz and Gustav and 100 other slow-spoken, simple-voiced neighbors. I pictured an honest and happy life beyond the strict limits of universities and law firms. I was excited. I had found a treasure. I had discovered a new way of life. So now, while we were returning back to a station in order to catch the afternoon train, he did not have any regret. He was not worried at all. He was not tense that he, for the job, for whatsoever, for the purpose for which he was being sent to that village, New Mullion, has not been successfully accomplished. So he was not worried about the failure to find out Lutkins. He was quite happy. Why he was happy? Because he had found a real place to live in. He has found a very honest and soft-spoken and soft-hearted and kind-hearted person. He enjoyed the company of Bill Magnuson a lot, and therefore he is lost in the thought of all those things what he has experienced today, and he found the life as well as the people of that village totally different, and he was totally attracted toward that village as well as the people of that village, and he has even made up in his mind that it may be that he will shift to this village, and there only in that village he will start his own legal firm. He will start working as a lawyer in that village only. So he was very much excited, very much happy, because he has experienced something new which he has never discovered earlier. So today he has found a new way to live life which was away from rules and orders and laws. Earlier he was busy with universities, and now he is in legal firm which are governed by various rules and regulations, and the people are not much cooperative, while here he found that the people are honest, they are very cooperative, they are living their life happily in a simple manner. So he was very much attracted toward the lifestyle of the people of that village, and he thought that even as he has got very close, he has got to know this Bill Magnuson. Similarly, if he will live there, definitely slowly and gradually he will love other people of that village as well, and he will get to know all other people of that village. And what other thing which he found positive qualities in the other people, that was they were slow spoken. It means they spoke in a very soft manner. They were quite simple and wise neighbors. They were ready to help each other. They were soft spoken and they were quite simple. Their philosophy of life were quite simple. And therefore he was attracted toward the people as well as toward this village. But I did not think much about Lutkins, the office did. I found them all upset. Next morning the case was coming up in the court and they had to have Lutkins. I was the same fool, useless fool. That morning my promising legal career almost came to an end before it had begun. The chief almost murdered me. He hinted that I might do well at digging ditches. I was ordered back to New Mullion, and with me went a man who had worked with Lutkins. I was rather sorry because I would prevent my loafing all over again with Bill. So now he says that his office was very much concerned about getting Lutkins, but this man, this young lawyer, he has not been upset about all those things because he was delighted to visit that village and therefore he was very much happy. But at the same time, next day, the person Oliver Lutkins was to be summoned in the court, but he was not present there. He was not able to bring that person to that court that day, and therefore it seemed to him that his career may come to an end that day only before he has started. And his head, his boss, shouted at him, he yelled at him, and it seemed that he was going to half murder him, and he said him that he was good at nothing, he can't do anything, he was good at only digging ditches only. And then again he was sent to New Mullion, and this time he was sent with a person who has worked with Oliver Lutkins. It means he was sent again to serve summons to Oliver Lutkins to the village New Mullion, but this time a person was with him who know Oliver Lutkins, who can identify Oliver Lutkins. But he was very much unhappy this time. Why he was unhappy? Because one more person was accompanying him, and therefore he cannot enjoy the company of Bill Magnuson, because in his last visit he has enjoyed the company of that person and he was quite touched by that person, and therefore it came to his mind that this time he could not loaf, it means he could not roam around the village and he could not enjoy the company of Bill Magnuson, and therefore he was unhappy. When the train arrived at New Mullion, Bill was on a station platform near his cart. Strangely enough, the old tigress, Lutkins' mother, was there talking and laughing with Bill, not quarreling at all. So now both of them, this young lawyer and the person who was accompanying him, they reached at the station of New Mullion, and he could see that the Bill Magnuson was standing on the platform and he was speaking to that old tigress. It means the lady who has threatened them to kill last time when he has visited with Bill Magnuson to her house in order to search out Lutkins. But he was surprised. Why he was surprised? Because he saw that the lady was speaking to Bill Magnuson in a very pleasant manner. She was talking and she was laughing. She was not shouting as he has seen her doing last time during his last visit. From the train step, I pointed Bill out to my companion and said, "There's a fine fellow, a real man. I spent the day with him. He helped you hunt for Oliver Lutkins?" "Yes, he helped me a lot. He must have. He's Lutkins himself." What really hurt me was that when I served the summons, Lutkin and his mothers laughed at me as though I was a bright boy of 7. With loving kindness, they begged me to go with them to neighbor's house for a cup of coffee. I told them about you. They are anxious to look at you, said Lutkins joyfully. They are about the only folk in the town that missed seeing you yesterday. So now, when he was there at the gate of the platform, he was about to deboard the train. He pointed to his companion. He pointed Bill to the companion. Bill was present there on the platform, and therefore he pointed his companion to Bill, and he said that is the really nice person. That person, he helped me yesterday to find Oliver Lutkins. And then his companion asked him that person has helped you to find out Oliver Lutkins. He said that yes, he has helped me a lot. Then he said that definitely he would have definitely helped you because he is Lutkins himself. So Lutkin was himself helping this young lawyer to find Lutkins. So he was totally taken aback. He felt cheated, and it seems to him that he was cheated by the person whom he was adoring a lot, and whom he has found him very friendly, honest, and soft-spoken person, and quite simple person. So the Bill Magnuson was no other than Lutkin himself. So therefore he was not able to find Lutkins in the whole village, because Lutkin was himself helping this young lawyer to find Lutkins. So he says that the one thing because of which he felt hurt was that the Lutkins, as well as his mother, that lady, was laughing at him as if he was a boy of 7 years old, and these things quite make him feel hurt and feel bad. And then when both of them went to Lutkins, he requested him to come to his neighbor's house, to visit to his neighbor's house, and he said that few people are waiting for him at his neighbor's house, because they were the only people who has not seen him yesterday. It means he has taken this young lawyer to each and every person of that village except those few people who were waiting at his neighbor's house. It means not only Bill Magnuson but the whole villagers has cooperated, has supported him to make that young lawyer a big fool. So he was fooled not only by Bill Magnuson, but he was being fooled by the whole villagers, to whom he has found quite simple and honest. And then this is how he was taken aback when he found that those persons to whom he has found very simple and honest have cheated him, and he felt very bad and hurt. So this is all about this story. So this is how we saw that the young lawyer was cheated by Bill Magnuson in a very beautiful manner, he did not gave a single chance to doubt him that he was himself Oliver Lutkins, and successfully he was able to cheat him, fool him, and not only that, he even made a very profitable business as well. This is all about this story. Thank you.